Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to today's webinar presentation on how to cut your client's capital gains tax costs. Today is part 6 in the 6-part series where we focus on opportunity zones. So thank you very much for everybody who has been here for the entirety of the series. Today's final focus will be the importance of investing in opportunity zones. As always, we will have Rakesh Bragava, who is the managing partner of Mango Tree Real Estate Holdings. And today we have a very special guest, Scott Turner, who is the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council Executive Director. So thank you, Scott, for joining us today. I want to introduce myself. My name is Thomas Provine. I am a marketing coordinator here with Accountants World, and I will be your host and MC for today's presentation. Just some tips on GoToWebinar. As you can see, you can use the orange arrow to expand and hide the GoToWebinar control panel. You can toggle through the audio options and expand the audio section to choose telephone or computer speakers or whatever audio you use to wish. And if you have any questions in the webinar, whether they be technical issues that you may be experiencing or questions regarding the material that's being discussed, please do so and type them in the questions section. We love getting questions on the material. It definitely enhances the discussion and enhances the presentation. There will be a 0.5 free CPE offered for today's webinar. What are the 3 things that you need to get CPE for this webinar? Well, you need to attend the live webinar for 30 minutes, respond to all of our polling questions today, and submit the post-webinar survey following the webinar's conclusion. You will receive CPE after today's webinar. For those of you that have joined us for the entirety of the series, all of your CPE credit that you accumulated during the series will be processed after today, December 16th. And if there's anything else you need to do, yes, please add webinar@accountantsworld.com to your trusted email list. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Rakesh Bragava to get started with our presentation today. Rakesh, how are you?
Good morning. Actually, I'm in California, so good afternoon, Tom. Everything is good. Dr. Turner, welcome. This is truly an honor to have you at this 6-part series. And I want to make sure that you all can see my screen. Tom, can you?
Just gave you presentation controls, Rakesh, and yes, we do see your screen now.
Fantastic. So everybody who is in attendance, thank you so much for joining. This is a fantastic opportunity and the final in a 6-part series, and we are very honored to have Dr. Turner. A short bio of Dr. Turner is on your screen. He is the Executive Director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council. He also was a representative at Texas House of Representatives from 2013 to 2017. He also served as a Chief Inspiration Officer of Systemware. He was a Senior Advisor at the National Football League. He spent 9 years as an NFL player at 3 beautiful, top-notch teams, Redskins, Chargers, and Broncos. And he was also awarded honorary doctorate at Dallas Baptist University. So, Dr. Turner, I have brief questions for you, but before I start with my question to you is that why did you choose to do what you are doing now, which is serving our communities, and that too in the poorer or low-income communities? You could really pick anything you want to do.
Well, thank you, Rakesh, and thank you everybody for being on the webinar today. It's a great honor for me to join you for this brief time. And, that's a great question. I've been very fortunate and blessed to do some, good things, very cool things in life as far as serving in a legislator and playing in the National Football League and, being able to serve my community. And none of which those things I take for granted. But what really pulls at my heart and what really drives me is service to others. And I like to call it being a servant leader, because it's one thing to experience, worldly success. But to me, the most important thing, the most successful thing you can do is to leave a legacy and help others to be great, and to do things that will far outlast you and outlast your life. And so that kind of from a heartfelt stance is what drives me to serve my country, to serve people. And when I was called about the executive director position of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council, the number one thing I saw there was the mission. I saw the purpose for which the executive order was written, and it came out of a root of the question being asked, what can be done for people in our country that are not experiencing the same kind of prosperity that our country as a whole is experiencing? What can be done for forgotten communities, forgotten people, and how can we help people fulfill their God-given potential, not just as a subsidy standpoint or a handout standpoint, but help literally people to fulfill their potential and have ports of entry to do so. And so when I looked at and I understood the mission and the purpose of this council and the purpose of the Opportunity Zone legislation, that really drove me and really excited me to come serve. And, to be able to serve in this type of position requires a great sacrifice from really everything you know. You have to separate from your business and, be gone from your family and things of that nature. But the results of having this opportunity to do so far outweigh the sacrifices. And it's really been a humbling experience for me to travel around our country. I've been to almost 55 unique cities. I've conducted over 150 roundtable discussions, meeting with various stakeholders. I've been on numerous, maybe 40 Opportunity Zone, 50 Opportunity Zone site tours, and have learned cases of best practices and shared strategy and vision. I've seen people working on jobs that had menial jobs before. I've seen people move into new homes or new apartment complexes that literally have been life-changing. And so I've seen these things on the ground face to face. I've put my feet on Opportunity Zone projects. I've stepped inside of new housing projects. I've seen new businesses being started. And so those things drive me every day. And ultimately, it's the 35 million people that live inside of Opportunity Zones that keeps me and that motivates me to do this assignment.
Yeah, excellent. And I like the fact that you call yourself a servant leader, and that's very admirable. I wish everybody has that attitude, then we will be in a different place than where we are today. And it's not about us, it's about the community we live in. Very good points that you made, Dr. Turner, and we would like to expand upon it. I have to tell you, it's just not 35 million in those communities. This is 25%. So I'm sure
That's right.
your mission will get to 140 million people, and then hopefully the US as a leader can show an example to the rest of the world how we can promote investment and enable these people rather than give them handout like you alluded to earlier today. And 12% of USA land mass is in Opportunity Zone, as we heard over the last 5 talks. So share some of these stories. I know you are very passionate about serving others, but what people have benefited, what kind of impact that you have seen with your own eyes that's been created that can inspire people who are on our call today?
Well, if you look at the root of the legislation, the root and the root of the council, it's economic development and it's social impact. And so we have economic impact and we have social impact. The deals themselves have to pencil out from an economic standpoint. But the beauty of this and the unprecedented nature of this is that it's twofold and you add social impact. And so the mindset and the paradigm of investors and entrepreneurs and elected officials, faith leaders, education leaders, and the like has had a great shift when it comes to investing and building inside of Opportunity Zones by the very fact that it is a two-spirited approach, economic and social. And so I've seen projects that have been focused on real estate in the sense of multifamily housing, or in the sense of affordable housing. I've developments that are focused on building a whole ecosystem. So you may have, like in Cleveland, Ohio, you have a brand new operating business by way of a bakery. And on the same Opportunity Zone site, they have 97 units of workforce housing. And across the street in a factory that they repurposed, they're doing workforce training. And so you have real estate, you have housing, but yet you also have the operating business side of it, which is as equally or even more important for the long-term sustainability of Opportunity Zones. And I've also seen a project that I'm really fascinated by, and is the one in St. Louis, and it's the Foundry Project. It's a larger project in scope, but it kind of entails all of these things because there will be housing, there will be retail, there will be a healthy food store, there will be a dining slash theater for entertainment, there will be green space, and there will be also 12 new culinary businesses inside of the foundry to showcase what they are and who they are as a business and as an entrepreneur. And the foundry, by way, is absolutely a great project, and it's across the street from another great project at the Armory, which is smaller in scope, but yet just as impactful in multifamily housing, in a work accelerator and incubator. And those two projects partner and feed off each other very well in the Midtown area of St. Louis. In Erie, Pennsylvania, being one of the poorest, if you will, zip codes in our country, they have a great a project there in the Bayfront area downtown where they're revitalizing that area and building those, not just housing and retail, but also supporting businesses there that will be very impactful for Erie, Pennsylvania. And they've done a great job there as a city. In Colorado Springs, Colorado, they have only 6 opportunity zone sites, but are doing a tremendous job of collaborating as a region with other mayors and city council and community and developers and such there in Colorado Springs to take advantage of building out their opportunity zones. Right now, they have 3 hotels that are coming up online and sure to have supporting businesses inside of opportunity zones with them. And one of kind of my favorites is a small town in southern Indiana. A family had a business there for about 50 years, and they sold the family business and took the capital gains and invested in a qualified opportunity fund and bought, I believe it's 3 existing buildings there and repurposed them in a town of only 2,600 people and created 27 new jobs because of this opportunity zone initiative. And everyone on the phone can understand just the impact that makes both economically and socially. And one of these areas is it's like a coffee shop and a convening spot so that the older generations and the younger generations of this small town can come together for fellowship and convening to keep the energy and the vibrancy of this town together. And so that's one that has really excited me. And obviously, you know, being the 50, 55 cities, there's a lot more projects that I've seen. But those are some that stick out in my mind from the operating business standpoint, as well as the retail standpoint, and both economic and social impact.
Okay, that's truly heartwarming and that's great. Tom, is this a good time for our first poll question?
It certainly is. So let's get started with that. So let me launch the poll question here. All right, folks. So our first poll question is here. Either for yourself or your clients, what drives your interest in opportunity zones? So would it be the 3 unique tax benefits, revitalizing communities in lower income areas, creating an impact, or all of the above? And just a reminder, folks, that if you are looking for CPE credit, answering both of our poll questions today is required for CPE credit. So we will just give this another couple of seconds here. Wait for everybody to answer. All righty. All right, we are going to give it just another 5 seconds here. Going once, going twice, and we're going to close the poll question. And let's share those results really quickly. So it looks 16% said the 3 unique tax benefits: defer, reduce, and eliminate. 3% said creating an impact, and 81% said all of the above. Rakesh and Scott, does that sort of go with what you're saying here with the content that all of these would be benefits for everybody?
Yes. And I'm so delighted to hear that, Tom, because that literally is the paradigm shift, if you will, that's happening in our country. And I'm so grateful to everyone. I wish I could see everyone, but I can't. But I'm so grateful for everyone that is on this call and webinar. And thank you for your heart about this, because that's really how opportunity zones are going to make the greatest impact, by having that type of mindset that is all of the above as social impact. And yes, it's economic impact. Yes, it is the tax incentive, and that's what draws investors to invest in these areas that have not seen investment in many, many years. But I believe, and I've seen with my own eyes and had conversations with investors, that they come in with one mindset that, yes, this is a great way for me to save on my capital gains tax. I can invest, I can make money. But once they get into it, and once they get into the community and they start meeting with community people and seeing the next generation that's going to benefit from it, their mindsets change, their paradigms change. So, Tom, to your question, yes, I'm delighted to see this such a high percentage from the question.
Right. And Dr. Turner, what another thing that you brought to us, and which is very obvious, but we don't get to focus on it, is that there is a wholesome effort to put things together. You talked about affordable housing, but you talked about the opportunities to work across the street or in a walking distance, as well as creating some incubator type of spaces. So this program is the first of its kind that is enabling people to use their resources to come together and create a real life communities where everything is self-sustained, like an ecosystem of its own. One thing that I read and I learned as a science student is that research takes years before it becomes a practice. So in terms of your role as an opportunity zone catalyst and as an advisor, as a director of this council, my question is that how long do you think it will take for people to truly understand what this, you understand it, but how long it will take from your perspective, people to really understand, and what can we do to promote it further?
Well, that's a great question. I think everyone's different. Obviously, I do this every day. And so, I live this on a daily basis, but not everyone does. And so I think that, and what I have seen, to be honest with you all, is that some people grasp it quicker than others. Some people, they have to see it in action to understand it. Some people are still trying to get, just a hold of exactly what it is. So, because I think it just depends on the person. I think it depends on the entity. But one thing that we have created is opportunityzones.gov, opportunityzones.gov, which is our website that literally is a one-stop shop and a great portal to teach people from Opportunity Zones 101 to what the council is, what are the action items that we've taken, for competitive grants and resources that are available, the toolkit that's been created to help people on the ground to deploy technical assistance to teach about opportunity zones. It gives you the work of the council, who's involved. How do you start a qualified opportunity fund? What is a qualified opportunity business? And so the website, to me, is the greatest teaching tool, or one of the greatest teaching tools that we have out there right now. But also, if you go to EIG website, they've done a great job in teaching, and also some of the philanthropic entities around our country, like Rockefeller and Kresge and others like that, and that can teach about opportunity zones. So there's many, many tools that are available for people. But to wrap that up, I think everybody is different. Hopefully people can grasp it sooner than later. But some will take a little while longer, and that's okay too.
Right. So you just answered a question from one of the accountants from Florida, Flavio. And Flavio, so opportunityzones.gov is a great website. There are multiple entities across the country, funds, independent organization, economic innovation group. They're all promoting this thing. So thank you for that question, Flavio. And if anybody has any question, please put them on. This is a great opportunity to have one-on-one with Dr. Turner and get an answer from you. So Dr. Turner, tell us a little bit about this council. When was it formed? What's this mission? What kind of role are you playing, and what challenges and issues that you're facing, and how can people like us, ordinary citizens, can help you do this job better?
So, as the executive director, I like to call myself the steward of the council. To steward the strategy and the direction, and kind of like the head coach of a team. Because we have 17 agencies, 14 federal and 3 regional partners that make up the council, to move in kind of a singular direction as we deploy assistance and resources inside of Opportunity Zone projects. And the way that you all on the phone can help, which you have already been helping, is to educate people on the tax law, on the incentive, how that works, what it means for investors. That's a part that I'm not an expert in, and that's a part I don't get in that lane. But I'm so grateful for the experts on the phone, because that's how you can help the most. In addition to sharing the resources like the website and others to teach people, to teach the general public what is an opportunity zone, not just people that may be wanting to invest in opportunity zone, but this general public, people need to know exactly what this initiative is, and actually that it exists, because it's really good news, and you don't hear a lot about it on the media or on TV, but this is good news for our country. And so to spread that word, just as lay people, as individuals, is something that you can help me and the council with, because the more people that understand about this, the better. And I think that it does restore hope, if you will, that there is something that can be done from a professional, entrepreneurial spirit, social impact spirit for the people in our country. And some of the difficulties have been is that not enough people fully understand it yet, but that's okay, because every day we get closer to having more people understand. The third and final round of the regulations, hopefully will be out soon, which I think will also open up more understanding, give great clarity, and hopefully deploy more private capital inside of Opportunity Zone. And so I'm really excited about those rules coming out very soon. I wish I could give you a date, but I don't have one, but hopefully before the end of the year. So that's how you can help us.
Right. So there's a question from Pearl, and Pearl, this is a text question, and we have several panelists who already appeared, and I will have one of them answer it for you. Dr. Turner, something very interesting. You sort of read my mind. I was going to ask you that when the government, and obviously you didn't introduce this legislation, but when something like that happens, it takes time to make this legislation work, get the regulation out, get them finalized. We already, end of this year, we lose a 5% elimination or reduction in our tax. A lot of people are hesitant to make the investment. So what does, if you know, and you don't have to, if you know what is going on inside the White House and the Congress and the Treasury is thinking as to they can expand this law so that people can make decision once the rules are finalized. What's your thought on that?
Well, part of my job is to make recommendations to Congress, to give a report to the president that has non-regulatory, regulatory, and statutory change recommendations to Congress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I receive these questions when I'm on the road about extending the deadline, about the rules and regulations. And so we make those recommendations by way of our report to the president, to Congress, and then it's up to Congress to act. But one thing the one way you move Congress is by doing well with what you have. And being an elected official, I understand it from both sides. When you see something that's being successful, you tend to extend it or you tend to expand it. But what we have right now is what we have. And my encouragement has been, let's do the very best we can with the tool that we have right now in hand. When the third round of regulations and the final round of regulations comes out at the end of this year, I think will be a great plus and a great positive for our country, in particular for people that want to invest in the Opportunity Zone initiative, and also for people that want to build and people that want to start businesses. So that's going to be an overall win for our country when those third round of rules come out. And so I'm excited about that. And as far as Congress goes, I try to my best not to get involved with Congress, to be honest. I do what I'm supposed to do and send them recommendations and, answer their questions and also educate them. But my focus is doing the very best I can with the tool that I have.
Right. Even though, Dr. Turner, I did ask that question, most of our panelists, if not all, were of the opinion that the best return on your money is not this 5%, which we're going to lose at the end of this year, but the elimination of gain, tax on the gain, which actually dwarfs any kind of other incentive that the government has provided. So I think, Tom, this is the time for our second poll question, and then we go back to Dr. Turner last time for final comments.
Sure thing, Rakesh. All right, let's open up that second poll question and share it with everybody. So, the second poll question reads, how many opportunity zone investments have you or your client base made since this law was enacted? None, less than two, 2 to 5, 5 to 10, or more than 10. And once again, answering these poll questions is required for CPE credit. Okay. All right, we're going to just wait just a couple more minutes here, or not minutes, excuse me, a couple seconds here. All righty. All right, going once, going twice, and we will close the poll here and share those results. So it's pretty overwhelming how many opportunity zone investments have you or your client base made since this law was enacted, and 72% said none, 16% said less than two, and 9% 2 to 5, 3% 5 to 10. Does that sort of correspond with what you're finding, Dr. Turner?
Yes, it has. I mean, it's been all over the board. There have been, and remember, this is a new emerging market. And, a lot of people are waiting on the final rules to come out. I've encouraged people that with the rules that are out right now, I've encouraged that, there is a green light to go invest and to go build because the rug is not going to be pulled out from under you. As long as you stay within the confines and the rules and regulations that have been put out. But we want investment to be made. We want businesses to be started, and we want, quality housing and ecosystems to be built inside of our most distressed communities. And that's the heart of this. The final rules will come out and give more clarity, maybe a couple additions to how investment can be made or different entities that can invest. But as for right now, the green light is up, and so I would encourage everyone on the phone to encourage their clients that the rug is not going to be pulled out from under them, but it is a great time to invest. And ultimately, the 10-year hold of the investment inside of a qualified opportunity fund is the ultimate goal because that creates long-term sustainability inside of the communities. After December 31st, obviously, of this year, the 5%, the 7-year deal will be gone, but the ultimate benefit is the 10-year hold, and that's the best benefit, the patient capital benefit that not only do you win economically, but also from a community impact standpoint is the best. And, not to pay any capital gains on the profit that you make inside of that fund over and above your initial investment is not only a great incentive, but it's a win-win for everybody.
I agree. And Dr. Turner, I live my life through learning, earning, and returning. And while I was researching for this session today, I came a quote that you said is revitalization doesn't have a color or a party. It starts in the heart. So beautiful.
Yes,
Share with us as to how you get these inspiring things and what drives you to, which is, I guess that's how I begin, is to share these thoughts with us, people like us.
right. And thank you for bringing that up. When I was first appointed, I was at the White House and we were having a summit back in April on the opportunity zones. And as I was standing, I was speaking to the attendees there. It just really was on my heart. The Lord just put it on my heart to revitalize. Means to bring new life, and that pertains to everyone. And so when I say revitalization doesn't have a color or a party, it doesn't matter what color or ethnicity you are. Revitalize is not Democrat or Republican. It's for all people, but also it starts in the heart of every man and woman, to want to bring new life to their community and to their brothers and sisters around them. And that was a quote and a saying that I want our country to, to embrace in the sense of, what, opportunity zones and revitalization transcends all the things that you see that we have differences in every day, color, party, ethnicity, socioeconomic background, because on the flip side of that, poverty also does not care what you look like.
I
poverty
agree.
sweeps
I agree.
across our nation. And so, okay, that was kind of my heart behind that.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Dr. Turner, you have been a great host. I think it's such a great opportunity for us and the accountants world community to hear you. Thank you so much again. Treat us as a resource, treat us as your family. Anything we can do for
Yes, sir.
you, we are here. And thank you all the attendees. Thank you to the accountants world, Tom and Sharon. You guys have been great hosts, and I want to acknowledge Dr. and Mrs. Bhansali for giving us this opportunity to have that happen, and also to Divya. So, Tom, take it away, please. And Dr. Turner, thank you so much for enlightening us with your beautiful thoughts today.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so
Thank you.
much.
I appreciate everyone.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Turner, and thank you very much to Rakesh for doing this presentation with us today. If most of you know, this has been a six-part series, and Rakesh has been along with us through all six installments of the series. So it's been a terrific run, and we're really, really happy for everybody to have joined us during this, and especially during today's presentation. So once again, folks, thank you very much for joining us. You can watch the entire Opportunity Zones series at the link below. It's pages.accountantsworld.com/Opportunity Zones webinar series. So once again, thank you so much, everybody, for attending today's session. For those of you that have attended the entire series, thank you. And once again, thank you very much to Dr. Turner and Rakesh. And if we don't speak to any of you, have a wonderful holiday. Take care.
Thank you.